Well, here are all the ingredients for my one pot Cornish game meal. I have the Cornish Game Hen there from Grocery Outlet. Defrosted it last night in the refrigerator. I have 2 potatoes, some carrot, butternut squash. I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to use, but I've cut it in half and we'll see there. I gutted it, and I will be also peeling this and some onion. So let's get started. Well, here are my veggies all cut up. I'm making this for Eddie, and he's not the biggest vegetable eater, so I'm going to use about 1/4 of that small butternut squash and about half a carrot. This much onion, he does like onions, and the 2 potatoes. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut all of these into bite-sized pieces. I peeled the carrot and I peeled the butternut squash, but I'm going to leave the potatoes alone. He really likes potatoes. But I'll try to sneak in some of the squash and carrot anyway. He does like onions. So there we go. Might be a little bit more. Just bite-sized pieces. I'm using this little casserole dish because it has a lid, so I can just put the lid on and keep it warm, and whenever he's ready to eat, there it is. You know, I think 1 1/2 potatoes is enough right now, so I'm going to leave it like that. I'm going to go ahead and cut up this onion also into bite-sized pieces. Throw that in. And I'm going to cut this carrot up into even tinier pieces so we won't notice it's there. That's what happens when you're with a vegetable phobe. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut the top and the bottom off of this, and just cut this also up into little bite-sized pieces and throw it in. And I'm thinking that maybe I won't use all of this because he might not eat it all. So that's about right. The rest I'm going to set aside and make a separate vegetable dish. Well, I'm going to go ahead and pour some olive oil in there, and I'm going to put some homegrown rosemary, a pinch or 2. This stuff's pretty strong, but it's so good with potatoes and chicken. I'm going to add some salt-free seasoning. I like this stuff because it just sort of has a little bit of everything. So I'm just going to add some of this. And a little bit of fresh garlic from the jar. Maybe 1/2 teaspoon, maybe a little less. It's pretty strong, like that. Yeah, about 1/2 teaspoon. Mix it all up real well. All right, so here's my Cornish Game Hen. I just took it out of the package. If you get them from frozen, they do retain some water, so when you're taking the package off, be sure to do that over the sink, because some of that retained water and ice gets really liquidy and it's all over the place otherwise. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this right down the breastbone. It's called spatchcocking. A lot easier to do on a Cornish Game Hen than on a chicken. There it is, opened up. And if you want, you can cut it again this way, but I'm just going to lay all this on top of the vegetables, and Eddie's going to be the only one eating it, I think, so we're just going to leave it like this. There's still some retained water inside of the chicken, so I'm just going to go ahead and be sure to dry that out as much as possible. There we go. Now I'm going to go ahead and just lay this guy out on top of the vegetables, just like that. He will, the drippings from the chicken will then go into the veggies and make them even softer and more delicious. Go ahead and do the same thing with this chicken that I did for the vegetables. I'm going to pour some olive oil on top, some salt-free seasonings. Again, the seasonings you choose are your choice, your decision, whatever you like. People like dill, people like thyme, all sorts of stuff. A little bit more garlic. And some more homegrown rosemary. You can also put lemon and rosemary, and garlic. It's really up to you. And I'm going to take my trusty brush from Dollar Tree. I love this thing, and grab a little bit of oil from underneath also. And also know that you can put a lot more vegetables under here if you want, and a lot more of a variety of vegetables, more root vegetables, maybe some sweet potatoes. But I just know what Eddie eats and doesn't eat, so I'm not going to bother overstocking this if he's not going to be eating it. He does like his meat best of all. And I did not grease the pan, which I did on purpose because I figured there'd be plenty of oil already in here. So we'll see if my gamble paid off. I've preheated the oven to 375, and we'll see where this is at in a little bit. It's about 40 minutes in. Smells wonderful. I think if I had had a more shallow dish, I would have gotten more browning, but that's okay. I always worry about overcooking these because the meat on the bone is so much thinner. The vegetables underneath, let's check them out. Doing great. Smells wonderful. I'm going to let this some of the steam come up a little bit, and then I'm going to put the lid on and keep this warm until Eddie's ready. What do you think about the meal today?
It's great. The chicken's tender, potatoes are good, and the rolls are to die for.
Very good. Very, very good. Well, enjoy.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for watching.